But it gives you an insight into the leadership at an interesting point, because we're through free agency, but the draft is still on the horizon. So this offseason, and then as Vrabel noted, the voluntary, as he said, I sent out a voluntary letter that they voluntarily read about the voluntary offseason program starting.
Your ass better be there.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Voluntary, unless you want to be cut, and then it's involuntary. But that starts April 7th, so we're at this weird kind of juncture of the offseason here. But I thought something was very interesting, and it was right off the bat. First of all, just a quick aside, I love that Vrabel has dubbed Karen Guregian as the first question. Like, you're the veteran member of the core. I look at you, Karen. You start us off, and then we'll go to these other slappies. But when they got underway, Karen's first question, I think, was the question we've all asked, a very simple one, about a simple hole on the offense. And I thought his answer was somewhat alarming.
What's the plan at left tackle?
The plan is to continue to evaluate our roster and see, who's there that we can continue to try to work there. We're going to bring the players in on April 7th. I think that Caden certainly going to get an opportunity there as the roster is currently constructed.
Okay, you can stop. You can stop.
You said Caden?
Caden.
Who's that?
Caden was the first name top of mind.
Caden Wallace.
Caden Wallace, the right tackle out of Penn State,
Gotcha,
who
that guy.
Elliott Wolf assured us could play left tackle. And Vrabel talked a little bit about how Wallace did some big tight end stuff and looked like he was physical.
You checked out after you said Caden.
When he the plan, the question was a great one by Karen. Very simple one. What would you say the plan is at left tackle? and the first thing he says is Caden Wallace. That just, to me, magnified the SOL level of where they are at left tackle. We've talked about Tyron Smith, who they haven't decided to bring in, whatever that may be. But this made me think draft pick or bust. Because I don't want to hear Vidarian Lowe. I don't want to be convinced that Caden Wallace can make this jump in his second season. Nope. I don't want to do that. I want a franchise left tackle. And that was a little bit concerning to me, that the first thing he said was Caden Wallace.
Fitzy?
On the Caden Wallace angle, I don't want Caden Wallace playing left tackle as well. However, I did actually also have a clip involving, of all people, what a polarizing, mercurial, and unique player to select, Andy. I too found a clip that got me piqued my curiosity, but got me excited in a different way. Also involving said right tackle.
You try to. Offensive linemen really can't play special teams, right? They're not a contributor. You're a tight end, you got a running back, you got a linebacker. Some of these young players, they can get their feet wet, they can develop on special teams, gain the confidence going out and doing those things on special teams. And Caden, they were trying to do that from the XL tight end, and he was doing a nice job. He was playing physical, doing a nice job, and then got injured, and by all accounts worked extremely hard through that process to one, get back, but also to train while he was out. So looking forward to working with him. And again, we're only going to evaluate what we see going forward. We don't care how you got here.
That's it right there. We're only going to evaluate what we see going forward. We only care about the here and the now. So this is not about jumbo packages with Caden Wallace. If he's going to fit at right tackle, if Andy's worst nightmare comes true and he plays left tackle or gets auditioned over there. This is more a general worldview of the Patriots roster, the ones who survived, Ted, from last year, the rookies at wide receiver, et cetera, that were busts, massive disappointments, et cetera. We don't care what you did last year. We're only going to evaluate you for what you do from the here and the now going forward. To me, with so many players in Elliott Wolf's seemingly disastrous 2024 draft class and any hangers-on from 2023 as well that may be clinging to roster spots a la Jake Andrews, we'll say perhaps, that's encouraging to me. I don't care what you did yesterday. It's all about what you do for me today and what I think you can do for me tomorrow.
And he said the same thing about Jalen Polk, so it's a theme. And to me, that's kind of him not throwing Elliott Wolf under the bus. He's kind of pumping up his draft picks. Rarely do teams want to give up on a second-round draft pick, even a third-round draft pick after 1 year.
Right.
So in light of that, they're going to pump these guys up and say, hey, we don't judge. Last year was last year. We weren't here. Don't know. We'll grade them off of what we see with them going forward. So I think that's kind of typically what they have to say. But I would bet you everything I have, which is a lot, that Caden Wallace is now your starting left tackle to start the season.
The 401 put it quite nicely. This is kind of how I feel about this situation. All in caps, so I believe that means they're yelling at me in the text line or yelling at the world.
It's emphatic.
Yeah. Can we stop drafting RT for LT OMFG?
Yeah.
Right? It's that simple.
Yeah.
And that falls in line with Membu, the kid out of Missouri.
Yep.
Like,
correct.
Oh, so we're going to do that again? We're going to tell me that we can move him to left. It also falls in line with Will Campbell. The one thing you don't have to sell yourself on is, can he play left tackle ever? Like, he was a left tackle. You saw it with your eyes.
In college.
You can decide about in college, but you can decide about arm length and skill set and all that. But you don't have to project the old. Well, can he do it with his left foot? He used to do it with his right foot, and everything's mirrored. No. It's right on. Put it up. Put the tape in. 3 years. LSU, SEC. Lots of acronyms show you that he can do it at LT. So that's the one thing. Ted.
Yes, sir.
What was your cut that jumped out to you?
This is one of my favorite subjects to talk about, and I've been beating this drum for a few weeks, is the thought that Joe Milton is going to get traded before the season starts.
Wait, you've talked about this?
Yeah, a little bit.
Should have saw him on TV last night.
Oh, I was crushing it.
All right, here's this clip.
Yeah, I think Joe's did everything that they asked him to do last year. It sounds like in conversations that he worked extremely hard. And that's tough when you're a quarterback. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to be the starter. Everybody, and that's great to have that attitude. He was ready for his opportunity there late in the season, which I commend him on, just like I would any player that sat there and went through a long season, a difficult season, and then got the opportunity, went out, won a football game, played well, helped his team win. And then, where that leads to, we'll see as the draft approaches, or, where Joe is on April 7th to start our offseason program. But, you have to give Joe credit for being ready to go. We're going from the third quarterback to being able to win that football game and stay ready and stay hungry.
As much as I don't want to feed the beast that is you on this topic,
yes,
I was listening to this live, and when he goes, where that goes when the draft comes, I was like, Ted's right. They're trading Joe Milton.
I think anybody who invested in a Joe Milton jersey, you may want to see if they have a refund or exchange policy.
Because then he corrected himself, and he's like, well, actually, the program starts on April 7th. And he realized what he had said.
Thank you.
But he flat out said, this will develop as the draft develops with the trades in the draft and all that.
If he wasn't trading, wouldn't he just say, he's going to be our backup. Yeah. We're excited about him being our backup.
Okay, you're right. How many segments do we need to do on your Ted's Right?
I'm done. All right,
this is the Ted's Right segment of WEEI Afternoons, for crying out loud.
I was told that Andy was always right.
I usually am.
Great minds think alike. There you go.
But I got to give Ted his.
All minds are open.
I appreciate that.
He's
bud.
right.